Trước hết, cho phép tôi được thay mặt ban lãnh đạo, cán bộ công nhân viên Công ty Cổ phần Xuất nhập khẩu Thiết bị Công nghiệp Việt Nam ANA Việt Nam GSC gửi lời cảm ơn chân thành tới toàn thể quý vị đã dành thời gian tới tham dự buổi hội thảo của chúng tôi trong ngày hôm nay. Kính thưa quý vị, với mục tiêu cung cấp cho khách hàng các sản phẩm chất lượng là các thiết bị công nghiệp hàng đầu của các nước tiên tiến trên thế giới, đưa đến hiệu quả kinh tế cao, Công ty Cổ phần Xuất nhập khẩu Thiết bị Công nghiệp Việt Nam đã cùng với đội ngũ cán bộ có kinh nghiệm công tác tại Vichas, Komatsu cung cấp các dịch vụ kỹ thuật, bảo hành, bảo dưỡng tốt nhất, đáp ứng kịp thời các yêu cầu của khách hàng trong mọi lúc, mọi nơi. Với phương châm hoạt động đó, trong gần 10 năm qua, chúng tôi đã nhận được sự ủng hộ, tin cậy của rất nhiều doanh nghiệp trong cả nước. Kính thưa quý vị, để xây dựng một con đường thành công, tạo điều kiện di chuyển giao thông cũng như tiết kiệm được chi phí bảo dưỡng và các phụ tùng thay thế thường xuyên cho các loại xe tải, đồng thời nâng cao năng suất lao động là mối quan tâm hàng đầu của doanh nghiệp mỏ than Việt Nam nói riêng và trên toàn thế giới nói chung. Để tiến độ làm đường cũng như chất lượng đường giao thông đảm bảo đạt tiêu chuẩn, đòi hỏi phải có sự hỗ trợ của máy móc hiện đại. Hiểu được điều đó, chúng tôi đã chính thức trở thành nhà cung cấp độc quyền thiết bị làm đường Primatex, thiết bị làm đường hiện đại với những tính năng ưu việt, được thiết kế để đáp ứng nhu cầu của khách hàng. Thiết bị làm đường này có thể sử dụng đa mục đích như nghiền đá, ổn định đất, đảo đất, phục vụ các ngành công nghiệp xây dựng, đồn điền, và thiết bị này đã được sử dụng rộng rãi tại Úc, Canada, Indonesia và rất nhiều nước khác trên toàn thế giới. Và chúng tôi sẽ có phần thuyết trình cụ thể hơn ở phần sau. Mà nhân dịp này thì cho phép tôi được thay mặt ban lãnh đạo Công ty Cổ phần Xuất nhập khẩu Thiết bị Công nghiệp Việt Nam xin được gửi lời cảm ơn chân thành nhất tới Công ty Cổ phần Than Cọc 6 đã phối hợp cùng chúng tôi thực hiện hội thảo này. Chúng tôi mong rằng với sản phẩm mới, thiết bị làm đường Primatex, ANA Việt Nam GSC sẽ tiếp tục nhận được sự ủng hộ hợp tác của quý vị. Kính thưa quý vị, với tư cách là nhà cung cấp độc quyền thiết bị làm đường Primatex Việt Nam, ANA là doanh nghiệp duy nhất tổ chức buổi giới thiệu về thiết bị làm đường này dành riêng cho các doanh nghiệp. Và để mở đầu chương trình ngày hôm nay, tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu và kính mời ông Trịnh Minh Hùng, Giám đốc Công ty Cổ phần Xuất nhập khẩu Thiết bị Công nghiệp Việt Nam sẽ lên sân khấu có đôi lời phát biểu khai mạc hội thảo ngày hôm nay. Xin trân trọng kính mời ông.
Thay mặt cho Công ty Cổ phần Xuất nhập khẩu Thiết bị Công nghiệp Việt Nam, tôi xin chân thành cảm ơn tất cả các quý vị ở đây. Kính thưa quý vị, sản phẩm của tập đoàn FAE chuyên dụng làm những thiết bị công nghệ về làm đường. Sản phẩm này đã được xuất khẩu đi Indonesia, Australia, Canada, Mỹ, Trung Quốc. Lần đầu tiên chúng tôi giới thiệu sản phẩm này tại Việt Nam. Kính đề nghị quý vị theo dõi, và chương trình của chúng tôi chia làm 3 phần. Phần thứ nhất chúng tôi giới thiệu về thiết bị làm đường. Phần thứ hai chúng tôi giới thiệu về một cái sản phẩm về chất phụ gia của một cái tập đoàn Úc cũng phục vụ cho công nghiệp khai khoáng. Và phần thứ ba là phần hỏi đáp. Sau đây tôi xin kính mời ngài Mr. Diego lên để thực hiện giới thiệu các sản phẩm của tập đoàn FAE. Xin mời ngài.
My name is Diego Faccinetti. As you have heard, I come from Italy originally, but I've been living in Australia for the last 5 years, and I'm managing the branch of FAE Group, which is based in Melbourne, and also looks after some Asian countries. We call this presentation Opening New Roads in Vietnam, of course, because we have developed a technology in the last more than 20 years that is dedicated to road construction in special situations, not normal road. We can do also normal road construction, but today we are talking about road construction in special situations like mining road, forestry roads, remote access roads. Okay, FAE Group, this is a little bit a presentation of who we are. The company originally is from Italy, so the holding company or the main company is in the north of Italy near the Austrian border. We have 3 manufacturing plants. This and this are all manufacturing and assembly plants. All these other companies around here are all commercial companies. So these 3 manufacture, all these commercial. Plus, we have dealers and partners like ANA Vietnam and other partners in many countries around the world. Okay, this is a little bit the story of PrimeTech. PrimeTech is a division inside FAE Group. So FAE Group is famous for making a lot of implements. Implements means machines that go attached to other machines, for example, tractors, excavators, skid steers, prime movers, etc., etc. So FAE is famous for making a lot of these machines that we call implements. They can be mulchers, they can be rock crushers, they can be road recyclers, they can be a lot of things. What happened in 2005, FAE, after supplying implements to many manufacturers of prime movers, decided to make its own division for prime movers. And this is how PrimeTech, this brand here, was started. That's where we are. Sorry. We are in the north of Italy. This is a very interesting region because this region in the north of Italy, near Austria and Germany, before the Second World War used to be Austria. And then it was given to Italy as a sort of a war arrangement. And in this region they speak two languages. They speak German and they speak Italian. So I always say when I introduce our products that we have German engineering with Italian design. And it's the best of both worlds. This is our branch in Australia. This is our branch in Australia. That's where I work. And here we have, it's a commercial company, so there's no manufacturing. We have stock of machines, stock of spare parts, complete units. These are some units delivered for customers. And this is where I go to work every day when I'm not traveling like today. Okay, PrimeTech. Today we will talk a little bit about PrimeTech because in the conditions, especially in the mining conditions, it's understood that crawler track machines have a better appeal. They are more preferred because the conditions of the ground are not so good. You got soft ground, you have mud, you can have a lot of water on the ground. So these machines can go everywhere. They can go up, down the hill, in the water, in the dry, everywhere. In other countries we use also a lot of tractors for doing many jobs, but in Vietnam the tractors are only small, only limited in horsepower. There is no supply in Vietnam of big horsepower tractor like 200, 300 horsepower tractor. Usually they are smaller. So we have to use these dedicated carriers, dedicated machines. Okay, all our implements and our machines are made with modern technology. We have welding robots, we have automatic machines for making frames. Every rotor, the heart of the machine, when we talk about rock crushing, the heart of the machine is a rotor that turns and it's got some hammers or some tools that do the job. All the rotors are electronically balanced, of course, with a certificate. And the hammer design is a special design made by FAE to give you more production and to give you better maintenance. For example, the bolts, one little detail, the bolts that are holding the hammers in place are all protected inside the holder. This is a patent that FAE has developed, which means that you can always replace your tool. If one of the tools is damaged during the work, you can always replace it without bringing the machine back to the workshop. You can do it in the field because it's very easy. And the bolt can be reused. This is how we manufacture. We have stock of components and semi-finished components, and then we put together the orders when the machines when the orders come. Every working station that assembles machines, whether it's a full machine or one implement, it has a computer and its own little crane, which means that the operator that is assembling a machine can control all the material on the computer that he needs to install, and can also, with a click of a button, he can move all the materials, the components from stock to finished product. So we have a very good inventory control. And also, he can send a message to the technical department or engineering department if there is a problem. If he finds that something is not right, he can send immediately a message to the engineering department so they can act on it. They can modify the drawing, they can talk to the supplier, they can make sure it's fixed. Of course, all our machines come with a detailed spare part, whether it's, as I said, a prime mover or whether it's an implement. They all have very detailed spare part books and user manuals for you to make it easier on the field. And especially for our partners like A&A or other branches, they need to have information to help you, because if they have no information, they cannot help you. So we try to give as much information as possible. And also the components we use, and we will see this later, the components we use usually are components that in many countries can be serviced. We will go into details after. The company, of course, is also certified for quality by TÜV. TÜV is a German company that certifies for quality, so every, I think, 3 or 4 years we have a renewal of the quality certificate. Now, these are the prime movers. We call them prime movers because we can have different head. The machine is the same, but the head can change. So according to the type of head, you can do different work. You can do forestry work like that. This is, for example, mining operation in Australia. In Australia, a lot of mines now are developing new areas and they need to clear vegetation. So they use our machines to clear vegetation because they are not burning, they are not destroying. They are recycling all the material into the ground. So everything is recycled. And this is an approved way. It's a green way, ecological way. In the past, they were just destroying everything with bulldozers and burning. Now, things are changing. I don't know how it works in Vietnam, but in many countries, even Indonesia now we are realizing, and China, things are starting to change step by step towards better way of doing things. So one machine, for example, in this condition, can clean a forest like that about between 1 and 2 hectares per day. Can be completely cleaned, ready for mining. These machines can work in very, very difficult conditions. I will show you actually this. We can go to this later. I wanted to show you one thing quickly. The machines can work in very difficult conditions. I show you this little video. This is a machine working in swamps, which is very exceptional. There was a special job they had to do in Florida, in America, and no other machine could do this job. We could do the job. This is very, very wet. If you see here, very, very wet. And this machine is working because the ground pressure is designed very low. So the tracks are wide and long. So it can work in these conditions. This is very special. But I saw some of the mines, for example, yesterday, and I also saw some conditions were very wet. So this is important for you to understand. See also this one here, very wet conditions. This is in Russia. Very wet conditions. Machine is still working. Also, another important factor we can see also later is the fact that the center of gravity, if you look at the machine from the back, and I will show you a picture from the back after, the machine is inside the tracks. So the center of gravity is very low. So the machine, even when it goes up the mountain, can still work in slope, in a steep country, because the center of gravity is inside the track. So it doesn't fall right or left, it doesn't tip over. This is very special conditions, look. I don't think he can stay still for a long time, but he can work. Okay. Road refurbishing solutions. This is what we will talk about today. We have machines that can work in many conditions. They can work in a normal asphalt road or bitumen road. They can work in the middle of the country. This is like a desert. They can work on, this is, for example, in the city where they are doing some asphalt recycling for parking lots. But the important thing of our machines is that we crush rock. Most of the machines that are in the industry for doing road applications, they do not crush rock. The advantage of our machines is that we can crush rock. So we can create gravel, create material that we need for road ourselves. We can create it on the spot. So if you have rocks, we are happy because you put them on the road. Don't take them away from the road like I see you do now. Put them back on the road and we can crush them and make a good road like this, like this, like this, okay? Also, another interesting factor about our machines is that they can also have water spray system, and you can inject water or water mixed with chemicals directly on the machine. And we will talk about this a little bit later. The same technology can be applied. Now you see here mostly tractors, because in many countries like North America, Europe, Australia, they have big tractors. They are about 200, 300 horsepower. As I said before, in countries like China, like Indonesia, like Vietnam, like India, they have problems. They don't have these big tractors. So we have to use prime movers. And this is what we can do with prime movers. Our prime movers have different horsepower. For road application in conditions like mining, I saw here in Vietnam, we have selected PT400, which is about 415 horsepower. But these are all jobs that can be done. We can recycle existing bitumen road, we can crush rock. This is, for example, just wanted to show you one thing. Here it is. This is, for example, PT400 working with rocks in different conditions. This is up the hill. These are rocks. They are crushed, and we can create a good road and a strong road by crushing rocks. Okay? We will see that shortly. Let's see a little bit how PT400 or PT is built. As I said before, most of the components we try to use are components that can be serviced in many countries. The engine is a Caterpillar engine, C13, ACERT, 415 horsepower. This engine can be serviced all over the world. The pumps and the motors are mainly Sauer Danfoss. These also can be serviced in many places around the world. Of course, the rest of the machine is designed by us, so we will supply service and parts for the rest of the machine. The undercarriage, for example, is made by Berco. Berco is a very known manufacturer of undercarriage. I saw one Berco car yesterday driving around in Vietnam. And the final drive, the motor that drives the undercarriage, is Bonfiglioli Trasmetal, also an international brand. So we try to give you brands, components that can be serviced, which is important. So you can find parts, you can look after your machines. The machines inside are designed very, I would say, very nice, very ergonomic. They're very spacious, very comfortable for the operator to work. Of course, there is air conditioning. If you want, as an option, there is GPS. The machine has review cameras. It's got a very comfortable seat that also has a pneumatic seat and heating in the winter. Of course, maybe heating is not necessary in Vietnam, but it's part of the package. And it's very easy to drive. The machine you can drive with two joysticks. One joystick to move the machine. You go forward, back, right, left. And one joystick to move the implement in front. So if you want to go deeper, higher, open the door, close the door, you can do everything with two implements. And all the information you need to know are here, between these gauges and the computer here. So everything is in front of you, very easy to operate. As we said before, the machine can work in mud. I saw a lot of mud yesterday when I went to see the mining roads. So the machine can easily. This is actually an interesting picture. If you go to YouTube, you also find this. This was a demonstration in France. This machine from competition, and they claim they have same ground pressure as us, very low ground pressure. We said, we don't believe you. So we made demonstration in front of many people at the trade show. And they got stuck in the mud, and we saved them with a winch. The machine has a winch at the back, hydraulic winch. So we saved them out of trouble in front of hundreds of people, which is a true story. You can see also on YouTube. The machine can go up and down the hill. See, this is a very steep country. The machine can climb up, can work in many conditions. This we've seen before. This is a little bit us around the world, but what is important today is this. How do we make a good road in the conditions you have in the mine? Okay. I prepared the 3 options, okay? And every option has, of course, different cost. The cheapest way is option A. Then you go middle of the way and you go option C, which is most expensive. Now we go through step by step. Option A. Okay. Option A, well, before we go to options, I want to show you this. These are important concepts of making a road. Okay? 3 important concepts. One is stabilization. We call this process road stabilization.